Your shoulder is the most unstable major joint in your body, and the strange part is that instability is exactly why it is so useful. This joint lets you throw, climb, swim, punch, hang, reach behind your back, scratch your neck, lift your arm over your head, and move your hand through a huge circle in space. But that freedom comes from a dangerous design. Inside your shoulder, the top of your arm bone is shaped like a ball. That ball is the humeral head, and it sits against a socket on your shoulder blade called the glenoid. This is the glenohumeral joint. It sounds like a strong ball and socket joint, but when you actually look at it, the socket is shockingly shallow. It is nothing like the hip. The hip socket wraps deeply around the ball of the femur. It traps it. It holds it like a cup. Your shoulder does something completely different. The socket is more like a small plate, a shallow dish. In anatomy references describe it as holding less than 1/3 of the humeral head. Less than 1/3. So the main joint that lets your arm move in almost every direction is built around a ball that is only partly covered by bone. That is the hidden deal. The hip gives you stability, the shoulder gives you range, and the price is instability. Now here is where the story gets interesting, because your shoulder does not stay in place because the bones lock together. It stays in place because a whole soft tissue security system is working every second. There's a rim around the socket called the labrum. Think of it like a raised rubber edge around a shallow plate. It deepens the socket. It increases the contact area. It gives the ball a better surface to sit on. Then there's the joint capsule. There are ligaments. There are muscles around the shoulder blade. And then there's the famous rotator cuff. Most people hear rotator cuff and think it only rotates the arm. That name undersells what it does. The rotator cuff is one of the main reasons your arm bone does not slide off the socket while you move. Its muscles wrap around the head of the humerus and pull it inward. They compress the ball into the socket. Biomechanics calls this the concavity compression mechanism. That phrase sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. A shallow socket becomes more stable when the ball is pressed into it. So your rotator cuff is not just rotating, it is centering, it is steering, it is holding the ball against a shallow surface while your arm moves through space. And this is why the shoulder feels almost magical. It gives you freedom that most joints cannot match. You can lift your arm forward, move it backward, take it away from the body, bring it back in, rotate it inward, rotate it outward, circle it around. The glenohumeral joint has the greatest mobility of any joint in the human body. That is its superpower, and it is also the reason it gets into trouble. Because when a joint is that free, it needs constant control. The bones give the shoulder movement, the soft tissues give it survival. Now imagine the ball sitting on this shallow socket. As long as the muscles are coordinating well, the ball stays centered. But put the arm in the wrong position. Add force, add speed, add impact. And the same freedom that made the shoulder powerful turns into a weak point. The classic danger position is the arm out to the side, rotated backward. Abduction plus external rotation. You see this position in throwing. You see it when someone falls with the arm out. You see it in contact sports. You see it when force hits the arm while the shoulder is open. In that position, the humeral head can be levered forward out of the glenoid. That is the key word, levered. The shoulder is not literally a catapult, but mechanically, the arm can act like a lever. The shallow socket gives the ball less bony coverage. The force pushes through the arm, and the humeral head can escape forward. That is why most shoulder dislocations are anterior, forward. Clinical references commonly describe anterior dislocations as the dominant type, with some sources reporting up to 97% of shoulder dislocations. That number matters because it tells you something about the design. The shoulder does not fail randomly. It has a vulnerable direction. It has a vulnerable position. And when the force lines up with that position, the joint can lose the battle quickly. This is why a fall on an outstretched arm can be dangerous. This is why a tackle can cause a dislocation. This is why a violent external rotation force can pop the humeral head out. And once the shoulder dislocates, the problem is not only the moment of injury, the first dislocation can damage the stabilizers that were helping the joint stay centered. The labrum can tear, the capsule can stretch, the humeral head can hit the rim of the glenoid. And in younger active people, recurrence becomes a major concern. That means the shoulder can become easier to dislocate again. The joint remembers the first failure through damage to the structures that were supposed to protect it. So when someone says the shoulder is unstable, that does not mean it is badly designed. It means it is designed around a trade-off. The body chose movement first, then it built a complex control system around that movement. The labrum makes the socket deeper. The capsule and ligaments guide the limits. The rotator cuff compresses and centers the ball. The shoulder blade moves to reposition the socket, and your nervous system coordinates all of it in real time. Every time you reach for something on a high shelf, that system is working. Every time you throw a ball, that system is working. Every time you lift weight overhead, that system is working. The shoulder is not just a joint, it is a moving platform. The ball moves, the socket moves, The shoulder blade rotates, the collarbone shifts, the muscles fire in sequence, and the whole system has to stay coordinated because the bony lock is weak. This is the part most people miss. Your shoulder's not stable because it is tight. It is stable because it is controlled. That control is dynamic. It changes every millisecond. When the rotator cuff fires correctly, it pulls the humeral head into the socket. When the shoulder blade moves correctly, it keeps the glenoid in a better position. When the capsule and labrum are intact, they help stop unwanted translation. But when timing fails, tissue fails, or force overwhelms the system, the shoulder can slip. And that is what makes it such a fascinating joint. It is both brilliant and fragile. It gives humans one of the most versatile upper limbs in nature. You can place your hand almost anywhere around your body, above your head, behind your back, across your chest, out to the side. That freedom made tools possible, throwing possible, climbing possible, fighting possible, swimming possible. But evolution did not give that freedom for free. The shoulder sacrificed deep bony stability for reach. It traded a locked socket for a shallow one. It exchanged structural security for controlled mobility. So the most unstable joint in your body is also one of the reasons your arm is so useful. The danger is built into the gift. The same shallow socket that lets your arm move almost anywhere is the same shallow socket that can let the ball come out. And that is the real story of the shoulder. It is not a weak joint. It is a high-performance joint with a small margin for error, a ball, a shallow socket, a soft tissue security system, and one vulnerable position that can beat the whole setup. So the next time you lift your arm over your head, remember this: your shoulder is not just moving, it is balancing freedom against failure every second.